Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Scott Cohen. Scott, it's great to connect with you, CEO and founder of Inbox Army, your email marketing army, full service email marketing agency. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you. So a couple things. Before we get started, I am a business coach and I work with people all over the globe who are successful and stuck, and I get them unstuck. And this platform of a podcast allows me to bring on guests to help people get unstuck. And so when you look at your business, right, email marketing, I would say sometimes people say, oh, I just get so much email, right. So I usually ask about, you, but I'm going to ask, people seem to be very stuck with the question, I get so much email. How do I get through all my email? What do I do with all my email? How do I control my email? How do you guide people to get unstuck cleaning out their email box?
Oh my gosh.
We're going in deep, starting off.
Yeah. There are the people they call them the inbox zero people. Yeah. I'm kind of somewhere in between where I triage, right? I triage just an insane amount. It's either I look at it, I read it, I mark it for later, or I'm very, as a guy who does email marketing for a living, I am relentless in the delete. And it's funny when you do it, and then you're also maybe your worst consumer of it. So in terms of getting stuck, it's just find something that works for you, right? Find it, but be ruthless about triage. I think that's the only way you can get through it. You're not going to read everything, and your interests will ebb and flow, right? So especially for marketing emails, there's that branding element that comes into play. So it's necessary to be there if you're being a sender.
Yeah.
But realize that nobody's going to open everything all the time. Even your best customers are not going to open everything all the time. So just give yourself some grace and look at sort of overall numbers, not just direct numbers, but all the numbers.
Yeah, good. I like that. A little off topic, and we're going to get back into email marketing, but my 2 cents on controlling an email box is make sure people know what they need to CC you on and what they don't need to CC you on. Same with blind CC, and change those rules within a company, because I think sometimes people get CC'd on 100 emails they don't need to be part of. One of the things I teach in my time management workshop is when you forward an email, have a system that actually tells people what the email's about, so nobody has to read from the bottom up. Yeah. So thank you for that. So let's talk about email marketing, right? Mm-hmm. So as we kind of get started, I want to start small. What is one thing one of the most important things you need to keep in mind when you're doing email marketing? Let's just start there.
Welcome emails. Number one, foundational email outside of your order confirmation, your shipping confirmation. It'll be the most opened and engaged with email you ever send.
Okay.
So
and what
even
if you have
a welcome email. Yeah. So welcome email, that would be if you go to a site and you sign up for, hey, get 10% off your first order, or sign up for more information, right? It's the emails that you get immediately after you do that sign up. Yeah. And those are people raising their hand going, I want to learn more. I want a discount, whatever it might be. And then that email needs to come in and go, thanks for signing up. Here's how we're going to communicate with you. Here's what to expect. Oh, by the way, yes, you did sign up for 10% off, or whatever that offer was. Could be anything, right? Could be a white paper, could be podcast download, a book download, whatever it might be. Make sure that's delivered as well. But it's not a set and forget type thing either. You got to set it up, you got to run it, you got to test against it, but know that eyes are on it because people are asking for it.
That's great. Yeah, it's great. What does it need to length? What does it need to feel like? All of that.
That is the ultimate it depends answer, right? So for some people, short and sweet works great. And for some other people, you could get more lengthy. I mean, I think about the emails I get from Costco that I think it's their entire mailer and they just put it in their emails. I wouldn't recommend that in a welcome per se, but it really is about establishing the value. So how quickly you can establish the value. think you don't need to do it all in one email either. You could do it over a sequence of emails, especially for the purchases that have longer consideration cycles. You can break up the content, tell people, hey, we're going to send you a sequence of emails that talk about all these great things. Look out for them.
Yeah.
There's no hard and fast rule on length. It's just a matter of, if you're going to be lengthy, are you providing value for the entire length or not?
All right, good. Yeah, I think that's something that is important for people. All right, so you guys, full service email marketing agency. Okay,
yeah.
So one-stop shop for all your marketing needs, from strategy to development to execution. You work with global brands, you work with agencies, businesses of all sizes, startups to enterprises. Okay, so I'd like to break things down into chunks. So I want to kind of turn this into a 3-part mini business course on email marketing. Okay. So I want to know what step 1 is, step 2 is, and step 3 is when you're working with any company, right? Because I think one of the things that I think is that sometimes people want to do email marketing. They think they can do it by themselves. They realize that they can't. They don't know all the nuances. They read a couple books. They realize that they're more confused. They need an agency to walk them through and hold their hand. And and because otherwise, like you said in the beginning, delete, right? And so this 3-part business course, I wanted to be kind of like what to think about, how to execute, how you help. So what's phase 1?
Phase 1 is, I like to call it the inventory, right? Or the sort of, do you have everything set up? So email is not just you can go sign up and start sending email. At least you shouldn't be doing that. So step 1 really is, especially with the rules that just came out with Yahoo and Gmail around authentication. So making sure that you've got your domains set up properly so that when you do send email, the mail providers know it's actually you. So we go and look at, I'm going to throw a lot of acronyms out. SPF, we look at DKIM, we look at DMARC. Those are the 3 big authentication pieces that we look at those and go, are they set up correctly? Good. Then we can get into step 2. We would look at the life cycle, right, of who we're working with. And every, you've got e-com brands that, certain general life cycles where you have, like I said, your welcomes, your cart abandons, post-purchase, things of that sort. And then you get into your B2B realm where you could be in, SQLs and MQLs, and how are you changing your messaging on that? What I like to do is look at a holistic journey and then start filling the gaps. Do we have email filling the gaps in the right spots at the decision points that customers are going to have? And then from there, we look at and dive into, you get into content, you get into the strategy, and really the best email.
This is number 2, sorry? Diving into content. Number 2, diving into content.
No, number 2 would be the life cycle.
Okay, sorry. So we're still number 1. Sorry, still number 1. All right, keep going.
So content. Number 1 is the number 1. Yeah, sorry. So number 1 is the authentication, making sure the technical pieces are set up correctly. That's number 1. Because that's just a necessity, right?
Perfect.
Number 2 would be jumping into life cycle, defining your life cycle with all the decisions that your customers make to interact with you, from first interaction to first purchase to post-purchase, customer retention, whatever. Sometimes you have if your product is a one and done, it becomes more of usage. If you have upsell opportunities, you define all these little decision points that customers have to make. And then, as I said before, start filling in the gaps. Do you have email that covers these decision points along the journey?
Okay.
And then number 3 would be your content. You would get into the content, get into design, and really it's less content and more test planning, because I think the best email marketers are the best testers, because there's no set and forget with email. You could find that what you've been doing works really well and what you're testing against it doesn't work as well. And that's a win. It's all about learning and testing. So that's really the approach that we take.
Good. I love it. So let's talk about email marketing, kind of the what people worry about, right? What are people worried about when it comes to email marketing? And then what are their, and then what are the things that they realize they shouldn't have worried about?
Usually the worries come to us of, are we sending too many emails? Or are we not
Uh-huh.
sending enough emails? And usually the answer is somewhere in the middle. And they worry about getting into the inbox. And in particular, they worry about getting into the Gmail inbox instead of the promotions tab. And people shouldn't be worrying about hitting the promotions tab if you're sending a promotion, because people may not engage. Your engagement may not be as high in the inbox, but when people go to the promotions tab, they're in the promotional mindset. They're in the mindset to buy at that point. So, and there's no hard and fast rule of why. I mean, Gmail's filters are pretty good. They're pretty good in terms of filtering to promotions and not and knowing if it's a promotional email. For some people like me, where you have the updates tab, typically updates are engaged with quicker, but there's no rhyme or reason to. In a previous life, we would know our open rates would go up if for some reason that day our emails hit the updates tab instead of the promotions tab. But it didn't mean more conversions. It just meant people went, oh, no, I'm not ready for it. So don't worry about the promotions tab. It's a good thing, because when people go there, they're thinking promotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Good. I love it. All right. So how'd you get into this business? You're a former copywriter. How'd you get into?
Fell into it just like, I mean, nobody goes to school for email. So it's something that most people fall into, and not everybody sticks around. Like you said, I was a copywriter, and one day my boss came to me and said, hey, you're writing those e-newsletters. Why don't you just do them? Too. And that whole, being open to saying yes and trying new things. I mean, that's how you build a career and find out what you like and what you're good at, is you just go, okay, or raise your hand for things. And that's really how it ended up happening. Is I said, yeah, sure, I'll jump into it and start learning this. I mean, I had a little bit of a, what are we talking? I'm dating myself a little bit, the old Microsoft front page website building, the original Dreamweaver when it was still with Macromedia before Adobe bought them. Like, I mean, had a little bit of that background. And then my boss said, go to some conferences, start meeting people. And I just got like brought into this industry full of people that just love email and love what we do. And that's part of the reason I stick around, is there's just so many great people. And I just love the combination of art and science that email brings.
Yeah. So many life course for a minute. So, you talk about being open to, being open to kind of getting advice and, allowing, kind of mentors to guide you. Mm-hmm. And so, I think a lot of people are craving that right now, right? They're very distracted, and they're looking for mentors that can kind of, guide them. And so, and we talked a little bit, you signed up, which I'm grateful for. I have my coaching business, and then I have another platform called Launch 3, and you signed up to be a mentor, which I'm really grateful for. And that's all about coaching 18 to 26-year-olds to, reach their highest potential in a crowded world where we give them curated content to grow. And so, you've had a lot of mentors, it seems like, who have guided you. So what are 3 things that mentors have shared with you, or 3 things, as part of this mini life course, that mentors have had a big impact on you?
I had a boss several years ago that said, and this stuck with me, and it's stuck with me for years. They said, the skills that got you here are not the skills that get you there.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, it stuck with me, because there's value in getting reps in everything you do. Because the reason that I know so much about email is because I have the battle scars to prove it, right? Yeah. I've made the mistakes. I've, sent out oops emails. I've done all that stuff. So there's value in experience, and there's also value in pushing yourself to learn more. So like when I jumped into email, I devoured everything. As I've grown and gotten into leadership positions, the day-to-day knowledge of email is still there, but then it becomes learning about people skills and learning about how to put the people that work for you in the best possible place for them to get better and for them to advance. And so, it's a very simple way of saying it. The skills that got you here won't be the skills that get you there. But that's really, really stuck with me over the years. Another piece of advice that it's a little cheeky to say, but I've said this many times, even to clients of ours when they worry about plain text emails. A boss of mine years ago also said, "Hey, ugly sells." And it's just one of those things that's true. And, I think it encapsulates the perfect is the enemy of good. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You have to be willing to make mistakes. You have to be willing to, and hopefully you're in a position and with a company and a boss that encourages mistakes, not necessarily mistakes, but learnings to be made, right? Hey, you can make a mistake, now learn from it. You can make a mistake, now learn from it. But it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because at some point at the end of the day, you have to ship. You have to ship it out. And I'm trying. Number 3, mentors have told me this plenty. Take your time off.
Yeah. Recalibrate.
You have to recharge. You have to recharge. You have to recalibrate. It's just, I didn't really do that for a lot of my early career, and I think I paid for it.
Yeah.
In many ways. So it's just something you have to do.
Yeah, good. Amen. I agree. I talk a lot about the importance of recalibrating. It's so important. You gotta recharge. All right, let's talk about inboxarmy.com. Who are your ideal clients?
So we're a vendor agnostic agency. So we work with clients across multiple email service providers. We work with we have clients that are, smaller businesses that are making strides to larger companies that just need to get work done. Our niche, really our strength is we have a deep bench of people who can execute, designers, coders, platform managers. That's really where our strength is enabling the companies we work with to achieve their strategic initiatives.
Yeah.
So it's, we don't really have an industry that we focus on either, right? So we've got people in e-com, healthcare, travel, finance, you name it, we work with them. So it's a nice place to be. I like to say, if it involves email, we do it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, quick speed round. A book or a TED Talk that's had a big impact on you?
Linchpin, Seth Godin. Love that book. I also... I'm trying to think of what I've read recently now, but Linchpin stuck with me, and Rework, what was it? From 37 Signals, I think. Yeah.
Jason Fried.
Yeah.
I'm actually rereading that book right now. Rework.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had Jason on the show years ago. Great guy. Love his books. And I thought, I'm going to reread that book. It's so, I love that book. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Nobody ever died from an email.
Yeah, that's a good one. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to recharge is?
Disconnect.
Good.
Completely. Go to the beach, go to the mountains, whatever it is, but disconnect.
Tell everybody again how they can connect with you, learn more about you, reach out to you, get your services going, everything.
Absolutely. Well, Inbox Army, very simple, inboxarmy.com. You can come check us out there. You can tell them that you heard me say some nuggets of wisdom if you want. You can find me on LinkedIn directly. It's linkedin.com/in/Scott Cohen 13.
Great. Scott, I appreciate it. This is great. I think it's a topic that everybody sometimes is very confused about. They've got a lot of questions about it. They don't know what's right or wrong. So think community, if you're in that boat, reach out to Scott, see if he can help you, guide you, direct you. Appreciate your wisdom. I just want to extract one thing that you said, which you said a lot of great things, but take time to recharge, because if you don't, you'll pay for it later. And, there's more distraction, more stress, more to do. The more technology we have, the more it seems we have to do. You got to unplug. So I appreciate everything you said, but also that insight. Think community, you can reach Scott at, give me your website one more time.
Inboxarmy.com.
And you can reach me at jondwoskin.com. Thanks, everybody. Scott, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.